Hello, it's Phil here at digitaldjtips.com, taking a look at the Pioneer RM-05 studio speaker. Now this is a bi-amplified, which means it's got a different amplifier for the tweeter and the woofer, active monitor, and that means it's got a built-in, totally built-in electronics. You just plug the power into it and plug in your music source and it goes, no need for a separate amplifier. Now these are an interesting speaker for a couple of reasons. The first reason is kind of a business one, because Pioneer has got Pioneer DJ gear, of course, that we all know and love. It's also got pro audio gear, but this is a serious assault on the studio, right? So they've got a studio speaker here alongside the RM-07, shows some real intent in the studio. Of course, they've got the Torres series of synthesizers and samplers now as well. So if you are wanting to add that slash producer after the name DJ, you know, you're going to be interested in this stuff. But secondly, look at the tweeter and woofer. They're both in the middle there. So the tweeter is right in the middle of that woofer. So it makes it, even though there's a 5-inch woofer and a 1.5-inch tweeter, it means the speaker is actually very small, which is quite nice. It's also, by the way, really heavy. That's just over 9 kilos. It is a solid aluminium speaker casing. And while my car is aluminium and they say it makes it lightweight, trust me, this speaker ain't lightweight. It's like picking up a Technics turntable for the first time, if any of you are old enough to remember that. Now it has a little power light on the front there, and it's got a bass port down here as well. So it's front ported, which should mean it's quite at home with its back against the wall. So they look like Genelec monitors, don't they? They are very similar to that design. Let's have a little look around the back. So what we have here is the standard level control, which isn't stepped, which makes it a bit harder to balance the speakers. You're going to have to do that by ear. Then we've got a low, mid and high, and these aren't, this isn't like a 3-band EQ. You do your EQing on your controller, on your mixing desk or whatever. This is more just for balancing them once set and forget for your room. So you can roll off the lows and the mids, which is what we did actually right here. So down beneath that, there is an unbalanced RCA in and a balanced XLR in, and quite usefully, an auto standby switch that you can use to make them turn themselves off after about 20 minutes of inactivity. And then the usual kettle lead input and the rocker there. So, what they like? Well, actually, one more thing to tell you. It's only a small thing, but I don't know if you can see the edge of them there. Yeah, see, it's just a little bit of marking here. It wipes off with a cloth, but all you got to do is touch them with dusty hands or whatever, and this matte aluminium finish really does pick up the dirt. So once you put them in place, you're going to want to just leave them there. Talking about putting them in place, on the bottom here, you see the feet there? They give you 2 types. So they give you the ones that you can see on the right of the picture there, these deeper ones, and they also give you these shallow ones. So you can have them set so that when they're sat on their stands or sat on the surface that you're going to be using them on, they're pointing closer to your listening position, depending on how you put those feet on. Now, what they're like. Well, we've actually used the RM-07s in our main studio. I'm in the Digital DJ lab here, which is where we're testing these. It's a much smaller room. It's about 4 by 4 meters. And these are really good for a small room. We found that they sound equally impressive. They're really, really nice sound from them. They've got 50-watt tweeter and 50-watt woofer, as I might have said earlier, which means that they're plenty loud enough for a room this kind of size. But more importantly, a nice, true bass, mid, treble. The bass is maybe a little bit more, a little bit muddier than the RM-07s, which you'd expect because it's a smaller speaker. But really, I'm clutching at straws there for any kind of criticism. We certainly forgot the fact that we were listening to Pioneer speakers and have just got lost in the mix many, many times since we've had these on test here in this workshop. So overall, if you've got the not insubstantial $599 to blow each speaker on a pair of these, and you're serious about fitting your production studio out with something that's really, really good, we see very little fault with these. They're the Pioneer RM-05, it's a smaller brother to the RM-07s, and you've been watching the Digital DJ Tips review. I've written up the full review over on the Digital DJ Tips website, and there is a link below to get you to that. And if you've enjoyed this, please subscribe. There are links below, above, and all around me to get more of our good stuff here at Digital DJ Tips. Thanks for watching. I'm Phil Morse, and I'll see you again soon.